Hello, good afternoon. My name is Zayna Elhady, and I am currently studying for a master's at Columbia University. And there's so much that we could talk about with this topic. But there's kind of three main experiences that I have that I like to share. And the first one is about my background in education and fitness. So I have a master's in education, and I was a high school teacher for a few years, and I also work in the fitness world. And through both of these, the intersection of these two fields, I've seen so many young girls and women struggle with the body image expectations and the beauty standards that our society forces onto them. I've spent so many lunch hours talking to teenage girls about why they need to eat lunch. Things that seem so basic to us, yet that these teenagers really struggle with. And at the same time, I'll see my friends on social media posting about making posts that are unwittingly contributing to the problem because it's so deeply ingrained. And we're constantly emphasizing, especially on social media, the stereotype that thin equals healthy when we know for a fact that's not true. The second experience I want to talk about is kind of like Lara, my experience in a male-dominated field where I volunteered as a firefighter. And this experience really helped me to recognize the issues of harassment, assault, dismissiveness in a career that is so male-dominated. And especially in a field where you have to really trust your colleagues, and having that teamwork is really vital. The difficulty for women in the field, there's so many gender barriers, even getting in, and then once they're in the field, staying in the field, there's so many things that are there to kind of push you out, and the way that women are often treated is one of those factors. And this really helped me realize that rather than one single glass barrier that we often talk about, there's kind of a bunch of one glass ceiling, there's a lot of small glass barriers that are nonstop that we keep bumping into that make it harder and give us more reason to leave. And part of what comes into that is when we aren't given the space to make mistakes. So we're constantly having to prove that we know what we're doing and that we have a voice. And if we do make a mistake, it's often attributed to the fact that we're a woman rather than the skill is hard, and even men struggle with it. The third experience is, I want to come from the kind of multicultural perspective. So my mom is half Chinese and half American. My dad's from Egypt, but I grew up in China, I lived in India, and now I'm in New York. And I've kind of seen these same issues everywhere. They just show up in different ways. But these are global challenges that women and girls face. And we often have the idea that the West is more enlightened and that, sexism isn't really a thing in the US. And it is, otherwise we wouldn't really be here today. But a lot of the times it shows up in ways that aren't as blatantly obvious as some places. But a lot of women, including myself here in New York City, get harassed on a daily basis. And there's very often the threat of violence or actual violence that we face. We're still very deeply objectified and can very easily feel unsafe. And without the basic foundation of safety, we really can't do much and make much meaningful progress in other areas to work towards gender equality.